Alrighty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7 a.m. and as you can see, I'm not actually wearing a jumper and I don't even think I have the heater on, so it's starting to get a bit warmer. It's starting to feel like spring, which is good because I can keep the doors open more often and I can have a lot more fresh air. And I might start opening the windows as well, get all the fresh air in that I possibly can because it definitely does feel good. Um, so anyway, food situation, still feeling a little bit nauseous sometimes, but I think that's because I'm not eating enough, which is weird because I'm not losing any weight. Like I've got a bit of a gut and it's not going away even though I'm feeling hungry a lot. So, well, not a lot, but sometimes. Like for dinner last night, I had the pork, the shredded pork, one of the deli meats I got. That's the first time it was okay. The second time it was very dry, even after coming out of the microwave. I'm not sure why, but it seems like that's not a good candidate for the deli meat. The ham, though, I got 500 grams of ham for 4 meals. Ripped through that. That was delicious. Okay, ham, absolutely good. But the shredded pork, gonna need to find something else. I thought about the shredded beef because I'd like to get my beef content up, and the other two cooked meals are chicken. But the beef, the roast beef from the deli, looks like it'll be dry as well. So either I got to figure out some sort of sauce, cranberry sauce. I think you could put on beef and then it tastes alright. Maybe that's a Christmas thing. I don't know. But I got to think about that, and I would like to get some sort of beef in there. It used to be sausages, but sausages made me crook, so nuts to them. Um, yeah, so that's the food situation out of the way. I am feeling a little bit more tired today because I stayed up too late last night. I didn't go to bed till like 8 p.m. I was supposed to be like 7:30 to catch up on sleep from the previous night, but I stayed up to 8, which is a good and a bad thing. It's bad because I stayed up. It's good because I stayed up because I was reading. Okay? I was reading too much. I read for like at least 2.5 hours yesterday. So overdoing it. But then again, it's the Hunger Games and it's a really good book. And I read the first chapter and after that I was just like, wow, I want to go through all three books and just read all the good bits over and over again. So I did. Like, for those who read it, like one of my favorite bits is probably the start of the second book where President Snow shows up and has a chat with Katniss, and pretty much any President Snow bit, a lot of things where Katniss is doing something awesome or going crazy, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Mitch is awesome. So yeah, I just blitzed through all three of the books, just bouncing all over the place, reading stuff. Ended up doing a lot of reading yesterday. So it looks like it was easier than I thought to get back into the mood, but it is because it's the Hunger Games. So I got to plan it carefully. I think I'm going to read through the whole Hunger Games properly, and then I'm going to move on to some other books that I really like. So Harry Potter, straight after that, and then at that point, I might have primed myself up to the point where I can read Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings is like a jumping point from the easy books to the amazing books. Because you read Lord of the Rings, and after that, you can read anything. That's like, it's amazing, but it's like an intermediate level book. So you start off with the easy ones, Hunger Games and Harry Potter. Then you move on to the intermediate, and after that, you move on to the expert books, which might be all the really big ones like I'm not going to say War and Peace, but stuff like Moby Dick, maybe I can get into after Lord of the Rings. So it's good. It's good to see that process is sort of coming out and blossoming, like I thought it might. Yeah. So anyway, as far as computers go, I spent almost no time yesterday actually watching YouTube videos, just sitting back, relaxing. Still spent a bit of time on the iPhone. Trying to I'm not sure if I'm trying to cut down on the iPhone. I've got one game, idle game, which I really like, and then I had a whole bunch of other games because the idle game I've got is really good. A lot of them you can play them 24/7. It's nuts. This one you play it for like 15 minutes, and then it forces you to wait for like 2 hours for stuff in the background to happen. You literally can't do anything. Or if you can, it's incredibly inefficient. It's much better to wait, which is why I like this game so much, because it actually lets you wait. You know, it encourages you to put the game down and then come back to it later. Just for your information, it's called Adventure Communist. It is one of the better idle games, better made, and like I said, it encourages you to put it away for a few hours and then come back to it. So yeah, I'm still going to keep playing that game. I've actually dumped like $100 into it. I wasn't going to put any money into it, but I decided to. I don't regret it. Because I've gotten like at least a month's worth of enjoyment out of it so far. So I reckon it's worth it. But I'm not going to dump like thousands of dollars into it. I'm not that crazy. So anyway, there's that game. But I've deleted all the other games. I was getting bored because Adventure Communist, encourages you not to play 24/7. So I was like, oh, I need some other games. So I downloaded a bunch of other idle games, started playing them. But I've dumped them all. I've kicked them off the iPhone now. So now it's just this one game. And yeah, so that's me constraining my iPhone time. Gonna try constraining my computer time. I'm still gonna play, but I'm definitely focusing on the idea of only playing what I'm gonna upload to YouTube. And that sort of stops me from just going into a like 4 or 5 hour spiral of just playing games non-stop. Because I don't want to do that. I want to play like an hour or half an hour, get a couple of videos done, and then say, okay, set these to upload. And then it sort of happens in stages. It's a lot more natural. And I did go down to the news agency looking for puzzle books. And the problem is you want to get into a lot of those Sudoku logic puzzles, but the really easy ones, you're just like, meh. And the really hard ones, you actually have to figure out. Like in this square, it's either a 2 or a 3, and then in this square, it's like a 6 or a 7. And you have to fill it in like that. But the problem is you doing that on actual paper is a pain in the ass. It's very messy, and I don't want to be doing that. It's easy to do it on the computer, which is the problem. So I'm going to have to go on eBay or some sort of online site, figure out what sort of logic puzzles I want to do that I can really get into, that are not going to run into that problem, and then see if I can go on eBay or something like that, buy a bunch of logic books, get them shipped over, and see how that goes. Board games and puzzles I haven't got into yet, but I can if I force myself to. So the plan for next week, to have a no computer day, is still looking viable. And the books, the amount of time I spent reading yesterday is incredibly encouraging. I've got the momentum now. So this is a fair amount of momentum. I just have to keep it up. When I'm finished with the Hunger Games, I just need to go straight into Harry Potter. And when I've finished with Harry Potter, I need to go straight into something else, maybe Lord of the Rings. I just have to make sure I don't pick a book that's going to stall. Like, none of those 3 books are going to stall, but if I pick a book that stalls, then it's all over. That's what happens when I try to read, like, the really hard books. They just stall, and that's it, game over. The whole book thing is gone. I could read Game of Thrones as well. I've got that. It's kind of interesting reading that now that the TV series is done, but I can still read it. It's not as good as the other ones I've already mentioned. Definitely not. It's a bit more of a struggle to get through Game of Thrones, even than Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is just such a well-written book. So even though it's harder to read than Game of Thrones, it's still easier to read it. It's got less chance of you getting stuck and stalling and falling out. So got to be careful about that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Not much else. Food I've talked about, books I've talked about. I definitely get the feeling that going outside and getting more fresh air is going to be key. So it's not just helpful, I think it's going to be key. Sunlight is still a problem. So we're going to have to be very careful about that. But I might start watching for overcast days, and if there's an overcast day where the weather's in the 20s, then I might go outside with the chair, with the umbrella, have a read, see how far I can push it. If it's overcast, less chance of a headache, and yeah, I just have to hope that as chronic fatigue improves, that the sun giving me headaches goes away, because I feel like spending more time outside is key. The feeling I'm getting that staying inside with all the windows closed it's just bad. It's just bad for me. And I know that sounds obvious to a lot of people, but I've been living like this for like the whole year, like windows closed. I just gotten used to it by now. So I really think that's key to sort of unlocking the recovery process to really get it into gear, because I'm not I'm not sure that I'm really recovering at the moment. I think there's like things like fresh air, less computer, that just need to happen. Okay, they just need to happen. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like pushing those as hard as I can is what's going to help, and probably more so the outside, going outside, getting fresh air. I will talk maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I do want to talk about my official plans. My official plan basically comes down to one thing: exercise. So I've got a little exercise bike in my gym room next to my home gym equipment thing. You know, the thing where you pull the weights and it's got weights on the back and blah blah blah. So I've got a little exercise bike. I am planning on starting that up. I started that up while I was working, and it sort of sputtered and then died because my energy levels were so crappy and I didn't want to push myself. But now I do want to do this. If you're an expert in chronic fatigue, you will know that exercise can help if you do it properly. Like if you don't push yourself, if you don't do stupid things like exercising too much, because that'll make it worse. But if you do it slowly and if you do it correctly, then it can help you improve. So that's definitely one of my plans for doing it, but I'm waiting for the right time to do it. I'm not sure. Definitely this week is not the right time. Next week, we're going to do the computer test. So that is not the right time either, because as I said, don't want to change too many variables. So maybe the week after though, I'll start pushing it. I do want to go and have another appointment with my naturopath though, because I want to get some feedback on all these ideas, like less computer, going outside. I'm pretty sure she'll just say, yep, that's a good idea, but I want to be scientific about this. I really, really do. So I want to get her feedback on it. And luckily I don't have to work, so I don't have to wait until Saturday morning to see her. I can go see her whenever. So I might do that. Like I'll do the computer thing like midweek and then try and organize an appointment with her on like Friday or something like that. So yeah, everything works out. But anyway, so that's actually my plan. So it'll be Friday parents. Saturday I do have to do a little bit of cooking because I'm going to run out of mince. So I have to do mince on Saturday. Sunday got friends that might fall over again, but whatever. And then Monday I'm going to do my shopping day because the meals I have will last to Monday. Then Tuesday day off, Wednesday no computer, Thursday day off, Friday naturopath. And then Saturday, I've actually got a thing in a city with some friends. So, like, we're going to do an escape room. So, it's for leave, you know, it's pretty hectic. I mean, I know shopping doesn't sound that hectic, but it's hectic, trust me. Trust me. Anyway, but hopefully the Tuesday being free and the Thursday being free will be good enough to do a computer test, or a no computer test. I'd like it to be like the whole week free, so maybe I can push it to 2 days no computer, really test it out. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. And I might try doing some walks, doing some outside stuff, even this week, just to see how it feels. Just because I know it's going to be helpful. So if I know it's going to be helpful, then why not do it? Why not give it a try? And if I start doing it every day, maybe it won't be another variable in the no computer. I don't know. Anyway, finish the video off now, and yeah, just gonna keep doing what I do. Today is going to be a do nothing day because I got my parents tomorrow, and then the weekend all the way until Monday is going to be at least one thing every day. So today is definitely going to be a do nothing day. Yeah, so I will catch you guys later. Have a good one.